In this video, I'm going to show you about web part connections and the filter web part as well, which uses web part connections. So I've created a web part page here, and I've put two web parts on, or app parts. One is my documents list web part, and the other is my contacts app web part. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to edit the page, and I'm going to add a web part to the top. I'll go down to the filters category, and I'll choose a text filter. Now what you'll see is that this text filter says the filter is not connected. So text filter on its own doesn't do anything. It must be connected to other web parts for it to function. Other web parts can work on their own, but they can, in addition to that, they can be connected to each other. And what the connection allows is data from one web part to be passed to another. So in the filters web part, for example, the text that I enter here will be passed down to both of these web parts here to allow me to filter them. Now I could filter each web part individually, but this now becomes powerful when I can make connections to multiple web parts at the same time. I'll show you how I do that. I'll go down here to the web part menu I click on. I'll go to connections. I'll say I want to send a filter value to. Now if I was using a different web part, I would have the option to receive a value from a location, but filter web part can only send filter values. So I'll send a filter value to the documents web part. It's going to ask me which connection type I want. So I'm going to choose the get filter values from option. It's going to ask me which column I want to match. So I'm going to choose the company, and I'll press finish. So this text filter is now sending its values to documents, but I also want to filter the contacts list as well. So go to connections, and I'll go to the contact, and I'll send filter values to the contacts app as well. Again, I'll choose filter values, and again I'll choose the company, and I'll press finish. So now I'll stop editing the page, and you see now I have a text filter at the top. Nothing's in here, so I'm showing all the items in these views. But as soon as I type Microsoft, for example, you'll see here I have two documents here tagged as Microsoft, and I have a couple of contacts here tagged as Microsoft. I hit enter, and you see now I'm now only showing documents and contacts that are tagged as Microsoft. If I type Virgin, for example, this is a slight limitation here of the text filter, you'll see nothing is returned. I actually have to type Virgin Media, the full name, to get a match. You see now I get the documents that I want and the contacts that I want. So I've shown you the filter web part. There are a bunch of different filter web parts that you can use. They're quite useful. And I've also introduced web part connections to you, which is a very rich topic. And all sorts of web parts can be connected to each other. And third-party web parts as well can have all sorts of web part connections. So they can be very, very powerful. And you can use web part connections to do all sorts of different things in your SharePoint sites.